Hey, what's up, Facebook group fam? Welcome back to another episode of our Facebook Live that we do every Wednesday at 7 p.m. As usual, I'm always say this, I've really been enjoying doing these. I'm not sure how many people are watching yet, but we are doing this as kind of a practice to get ready for a podcast that we're going to be launching when I move to New York in June. Looking forward to the move. It's going to be exciting. I'm actually originally from New York and going back in a completely different situation I was in before. So, bringing my own business with me, a lot more experience in life, and just kind of really looking forward to seeing what it's like to live in New York without worrying about everything all the time. But, it's a pretty crazy place, and I'm sure that, some of the craziness and the stress of New York will rear its ugly head again. But, I'm looking forward to all the things that we have planned when we get there. So that being said, I am in the middle of doing a series on shreds, which is a series on biofeedback, or listening to the cues that your body is giving you, so that you can address things that are going on inside your body, so that you can get better results from your fitness and nutrition routines. Now, I always want to make sure I give credit where credit is due. So, every week I'm going to remind you that the SHREDS acronym is from a guy that I follow, whose podcast I listen to, who is an incredibly smart and talented individual in the fitness industry. His name is Sam Miller. So he came up with the SHREDS acronym, and the SHREDS acronym stands for sleep, hunger, recovery, energy, digestion, and stress. So we are on episode 3 today, which is recovery. So in today's Facebook Live, we're going to talk about understanding the recovery markers, and we're going to delve into the factors influencing the recovery process and its significance in achieving your fitness goals. We're also going to differentiate between physical and mental recovery to optimize performance and well-being. And then we'll end, as we usually do, with how to manage your recovery and make sure that you're paying attention to all the pieces of the recovery process that you need to make progress, again, in your fitness goals or even in just your general overall health and well-being. So let's start with what affects recovery. Well, of course, nutrition. Nutrition has an effect on everything that you do. So if you're getting proper nutrition, then you're going to have proper recovery. Same thing with hydration. These are the two biggest things that you put into your body through this area that are going to have an effect on how well you perform and recover. But some things that we think about in recovery are also sleep quality, the levels of stress that you have throughout the day and throughout the week, and also the intensity of your exercise. Of course, how hard you're working out, or even how hard you're working. If you have a physical labor job, can have a huge effect on your recovery process and what you need to do to recover. Some of us need more recovery than others. Now, when we talk about recovery, we're talking about two different things. We're talking about physical recovery, and we're talking about mental recovery. So both of these things are just as important as the other. Let's start with physical recovery. So physical recovery encompasses the body's repair and adaptation processes following exercise or exertion, right? This is the physical aspect. It involves repairing muscle tissue, replenishing energy stores, and reducing inflammation. Signs of physical recovery include reduced muscle soreness, restored energy levels, and improved performance capacity. But then on the other side of that coin, we have mental recovery. And we don't often think about the mental recovery as much as we do the physical recovery, especially when we're in a physical fitness routine. But mental recovery refers to the restoration of cognitive and emotional well-being after periods of stress or intense mental activity. It involves relaxation, stress management, and fostering positive mental states. So mental recovery is crucial for maintaining focus, for maintaining motivation, and that's a word we hear a lot when we talk about fitness, and overall mental health. So developing awareness of recovery cues, it involves recognizing signs of fatigue, signs of soreness, and mental strain. It really does require tuning into the body's signals to determine when rest and recovery are needed. We need to listen to our bodies. I will admit, well, first and foremost, that I am somebody who has definitely ignored these cues in the past because I wanted to push through and I wanted to make sure that I could either, get that workout in today that I didn't feel like I was prepared for, or, get in that extra bit of studying that I didn't feel like I was mentally prepared for because either I have a deadline or I have a fitness goal that I'm working towards, right? But what we really need to do is tune into our body signals to determine when rest and recovery are needed. You need to pay attention to the fluctuations in your energy levels. Your mood is a big one. If you find that your mood is off, it can be a huge indication that you need some sort of recovery. And sleep quality. And if your sleep quality is not there, then maybe you're having a problem with recovery in other areas of your life. But all of these can guide your recovery strategies effectively and make sure that you are approaching not just your physical activities, but also your mental activities with some awareness and the ability to perform better. And that's what this is all about. And that's really what recovery is all about. Making sure that we stay healthy and making sure that we can perform in the mental and physical activities that we have to do every single day. So how do you manage recovery? So the first thing is nutrition and hydration. And we talked about this at the beginning of the live today. Proper nutrition and hydration are definitely essential for supporting the recovery process. Consuming adequate protein, carbohydrates, fats, and micronutrients, they really help replenish your energy stores. They repair your tissues and they support your immune functions as well. Where do we get all of this stuff from? This is the stuff that we eat. This is stuff that we put into our body. I am not a big fan of fad diets. I do not think that they work. They give you short-term results that usually end up getting you exactly back to the same place or even worse when you're done. So, some examples of that are like no carb diets, like keto, or no fat diets, which have been around since like the 1950s when someone decided that healthy fats in addition to unhealthy fats were bad for you, and that's what made you fat. But also micronutrients in vegetables, right? We need to make sure that we're getting enough vegetables and fruits throughout the day so that we're getting all of those micronutrients that support all of the functions in our body. And if we can have a wide range of all of these micro and macronutrients, we are going to feel better. We are going to function better. And the processes of our bodies are going to support all the physical and mental activity that we need to do every day. Hydration, of course, this aids in your ability to function mentally and physically as well. It aids in nutrient delivery, waste removal, promoting optimal recovery. And it's not just enough sometimes to drink water, but I highly recommend making sure you have electrolytes as part of your intake as well, because you can drink all the water in the world, but if your body is not using the water that you give it, then you're basically just getting rid of it all. So if you're getting up and going to the bathroom in the middle of the night and you're not getting the rest that you need, first of all, you're interrupting your recovery process, and sleep is an important one, which we're going to talk about next. But that could mean that you're not absorbing the water or the hydration that your body is taking in. So when you drink electrolytes, it actually helps your body use the water that you're giving it. So very important to add that to your repertoire. And I think you should have electrolytes at least once a day. Quality sleep. Sleep is important. This is just kind of a given when you think about recovery. It's probably the first thing that we always think of, and it's the first thing that comes to mind. We really want to prioritize quality sleep. And this is going to facilitate both physical and mental recovery. So you want to aim for consistent sleep patterns. You want to create a conducive sleep environment, and practice relaxation techniques before bed. Another thing that you can do to get great sleep is to make sure that you're turning off your electronic devices. I'm guilty of not doing that myself, so that you are getting yourself into a parasympathetic state, and that is when your body starts producing melatonin, which is the hormone that reduces, the energy in your body and helps you get ready for sleep. Adequate sleep duration and quality are vital for hormone regulation, tissue repair, and cognitive function. And if you're working out often, you want to make sure that you're sleeping well enough to get into those deep sleep cycles, because that's where all the muscle repair happens. So if you're worried about gaining muscle, whether it be size or lean mass, you really want to make sure that you're getting into those deep sleep cycles by practicing good sleeping patterns. Getting into a religious bedtime, like making sure you're going to bed at the same time every night, making sure that you are Having at least 7 hours at bare minimum, but even up to 8 or 9 hours of sleep is going to make sure that you're getting enough of those deep sleep cycles to get all that repair that you need. And it's not just going to repair, the muscles, but also make sure that your mind is ready to go and functioning to the best of its ability when you wake up in the morning. When we think about recovery, we have to think about stress as well. So we're going to try to implement some stress management strategies to promote mental recovery, engage in activities such as meditation, deep breathing exercise, or maybe even hobbies that promote relaxation and reduce stress levels. So minimizing stressors and fostering a positive mindset can support your overall well-being, and it can really enhance your recovery process. And, we're really talking about mental recovery here. But in addition to that, if you're having trouble getting to sleep and you're worried about your physical recovery, you can practice some of these mental relaxation techniques like meditation before you get into bed, right? So we can, again, try to get ourselves into that parasympathetic state so that we can really have that nice relaxing rest that we need to get all of that recovery that we need to perform well the next day. So we talked about these things that you need to do to recover, right? But another method that you can use to make sure that you're getting all of these recovery techniques is tracking your recovery, or keeping a record of your recovery strategies and their effects on your performance and well-being. You can try something, see if it works, monitor the changes in your energy levels, your mood, and your physical performance. And then if you're keeping a journal or a record of what you've done and how you feel afterwards, you can really fine-tune your recovery approach. And then it gives you the ability to adjust your recovery strategies based on your individual needs and also your training demands, right? Something that works for you when you're only training 3 times a week may not work the same for you when you're training 5 days a week and you have different goals. So, tracking that recovery is really, really important. What have you done? How do you feel afterwards? And what changes do you need to make to improve upon, the way that your body is reacting or giving you those biofeedback cues when it comes to the recovery process? And as I said last week, I want to remind you that all of these biofeedback markers are all interconnected, right? None of them work independently of each other. Just like all of your muscles all work together to make your body function, so do all of these strategies, right? So do all of the pieces of the SHREDS acronym. So you want to recognize the interconnectedness of recovery with all of the other biofeedback markers like stress, nutrition, and sleep, like we talked about today. If you address all aspects of recovery, including physical and mental components, it can really contribute to your overall performance, resilience, well-being, and you can become that Superman with that six-pack abs and all of the energy in the world that I know everybody wants, and just really perform not only physically but mentally better in all of the days that you have in front of you. So, this is a process like everything else. Everything that we do, we need to try and see what works for us and see what doesn't work for us, and keep tweaking and keep tracking and keep making sure that we're just trying to be better at everything that we're doing. So, that being said, this was day 3. We've got 3 more Facebook Lives on the SHRED series. Thank you guys for watching. Even if you're not watching live and you're watching this on the replay, really appreciate your attention. If there's anything that you want us to talk about in the Facebook Lives, please let us know below. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the SHRED series so far. Let us know what you would like us to talk about. Let me know any questions you have on what we talked about today or the last 2 weeks, or anything that has to do with either fitness, nutrition, or stress and anxiety, because these are all the things that we address in the modified macro method. And you never know, I just might have an answer that helps you. So thank you very much again for watching, and I will see you guys next week.